Hey, welcome to my channel. Um, just like in game one, game two, this is where they were supposed to come out and pretty much destroy them. They were supposed to just basically come out strong against the Pacers, but they didn't. And just like in game one, they basically started out to the point of letting Indiana score at will for the first couple of minutes, first 5 minutes, and then Knicks playing catch up in the first quarter. But then by that point, it's as though is they basically ignored Siakam. It's pretty much what it comes down to. Shaq even called it yesterday. They pretty much didn't treat him as a threat. Problem is Siakam. You saw what he did when he was with Toronto Raptors, with him and OG with Toronto. How they played against the Golden State Warriors. Even Green was saying basically that it was one of those things where Siakam, not a great ball handler, but when it comes push comes to shove, get on the ball. He's not going to do fancy stuff, but he's going to get the ball in there. Basically, it's one of those things where the ball when it's in transition, he's automatically in there at that point. And the man was shooting threes left and right as well too. It's a sad state that the Knicks defense didn't show up per se as they were in the first game a little bit. Well, I mean, for the first couple of before the first 5 minutes and the last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, of course. But the fact that they couldn't contain him, they were able to hold Halliburton. But the problem is like Halliburton's not going to beat you. Anyone on this team can beat you. Naismith, Halliburton, Siakam, even McCullough or whatever the white dude's name is. I forgot now. Honestly, I'm just like at a loss. The Knicks pretty much. I mean, the way their record is right now, I mean, when they're down 0-2, they're pretty much 0-4, whatever it is at this point. So I don't expect the Knicks to come out and win this series outright. They might bring it to a game seven again. It's possible they can bring it to a game seven. By the time they get to game seven, though, if it does get to a game seven, the Knicks are not winning it. Can the Knicks win four straight? Possible, but the problem is you got to go into Indiana, and they're not winning. They're not coming out of a one game out of Indiana. I mean, quite honestly, that's not happening. This is the same Knicks team that came out of Boston up 2 games to nothing, and they should have closed them out in Game 5, possibly Game 4. Should have closed them out in Game 5, but they didn't. I mean, this is I don't know for whatever reason. It seems like the Knicks are treating Indiana as a joke, as though it's like, oh, we got them, we could take them in like 4 games straight, but it's not. And the problem is, it's like even Karl-Anthony Towns. I mean, for the first quarter, I mean, he was not doing anything. Yeah, in the first game he was showing up, but the problem is like it's hard to say because it seems like this. And the sad part is, last year the reason why I thought the Knicks lost last year is because they didn't have Mitch Robinson and and OG was injured after the first game that they couldn't keep up with the Pacers at that point. The fact is now OG and Mitch Robinson are healthy, though now it's hard to see, hard to determine if Mitch Robinson is going to even play Game 3 in the rest of the series after the way he fell on his ankle. So great, he's going to be out again. What else is new? Any case, um, this is a situation where the Knicks have no choice but to go all out. I hate to say it's like your Tibbs. He brought in Payne. He didn't really do much. The sad, unfortunate part is I don't know what to do. It's like honestly, if I'm Tibbs at this point, you know what? If I'm going down, I'm going down with the ship. I might as well play PJ Tucker. Let him be sort of an enforcer at that point. Let him take out players. Let him start hacking away at people at that point as well too. Similar with Payne and any of your other players are on the bench at this point because quite honestly, you're not winning this series, so you might as well go down fighting at this point, like giving all your players a shot. Um, it's gonna. The problem is like this is proven that not proven, but this is showing what the Knicks' deficiency was. I mean, Brunson, as good as he is, hold off Cat Towns. That's it. You got to surround him with everyone. You thought OG Anunoby was going to be good. He is doing decent. Not great, but he's doing decent enough. Problem is, Mikal Bridges, he's not living up to expectations. That's the sad part about it. Mikal Bridges, the fact that the Knicks gave up 4 unrestricted top first round picks and the 5th round pick as well too. Not 5th round, 4 unrestricted first round picks as well as or uncontested first round picks, as well as one other first round pick. It's it's mind boggling. I mean, like the Knicks gave up a lot of draft capital for this guy. I mean, I honestly don't know why that was. I mean, the fact is like I don't know why Rose was desperate to bring in Bridges. Is it because he wanted to get the Villanova four back together again? I mean, I don't know. It's possible. Honestly, though, if that was the case, then you would never have traded DiVincenzo for Carlton Towns. Now looking back at the trade between Minnesota and the Knicks, um, it was sort of looking at the way it is, it's sort of a win-win because they both made it to their conference finals. Are the Minnesota Timberwolves getting into the into the finals themselves? No, because it's sad. It's hard to say, but the problem is Oklahoma's too lethal, too quick. They got scorers left and right, and Minnesota, as we were saying with Julius Randle, unless he steps up, he's pretty much going to go down, and like he's pretty much going to take the team down. Ant-Man can't do it himself, and it was shown right there. DiVincenzo, Dante, great as good as he is, he's not doing so well against the Oklahoma Thunder at this point. Similar with the Knicks, Carlton Towns, good as he is, he's got to stay out of foul trouble, but he's also got to kick up the defense a little bit. I mean, with him sitting down and having Mitch Robinson, the reason why Mitch Robinson was there much longer was the fact is like for his defensive and defensive prowess as well as rebounding. Kyle Anthony Towns doesn't have that ability, unfortunately. So, from a perspective of the trade, it seems like it was kind of a win-win at this case. Where everyone thought initially the Knicks got the better of the deal, but now it looks like it's coming down to being evened out at this point. So it was a win for both teams at this point. The fact that they got into the conference finals again, I think it's kind of proving at this point that Robinson. My fear was I was hoping this was wrong, but my fear was that the fact that like the fact that Brunson brought the Knicks to the conference finals. I said, yeah, if he brings them to the conference finals, yeah, I'll consider him a tier one instead of tier 1A. Problem is, this is against Indianapolis, the same team last year. If he got to the finals, definitely by all means a superstar. He becomes that tier one star basically at that point. I don't think at that point. But the reality is if the Knicks can't get past the Pacers again, I can't put Brunson in that category of being a tier one. Tier one, he has to be a tier 1A at this point. Now everyone says like between these four teams, who becomes the superstar? Let's be honest. SGA is already the superstar. SGA is already the superstar. Ant-Man is practically a superstar. He's on the verge of. If the Pacers win the finals, if they win the NBA championship, Tyrese Halliburton gets automatically elevated up to the number one spot. Halliburton gets elevated to the number one spot immediately at that point. If Brunson were to get the Knicks into the finals, get him into the finals, he doesn't have to win the finals. He gets him into the finals. Yeah, I think he becomes a superstar. He becomes a downright superstar, and the Knicks have their legitimate superstar like they had with Patrick Ewing, where they had Allen Houston at that point, as well as Carmelo Anthony for those years that Carmelo Anthony was good. But problem is like Brunson can't do it alone, and I know he can't do it alone, but at the same time, he has that number 2 and 3 men basically. He does have Karl Anthony Towns, that other secondary scorer. He does have the surrounding pieces. I mean, it's there. So it's hard to say. Like I don't know. Like I said, I'm hoping the Knicks can come out and get to the finals, but realistically speaking, we got to be realistic the way things are, and the fact that these players are dead tired, and it was such an emotional drainage from the Boston Celtics series. The Knicks are not getting past the Pacers, unfortunately, and that's a sad state. Yeah, you're gonna say it's like, oh, don't be a Knicks hater. I'm not a Knicks hater. I'm a realist. Unfortunately, I'm an unfortunate realist. It's like just being a Mets fan, basically, an Islanders fan, as well as a Giants fan. Realist, basically, is like Giants until they get a superstar quarterback, they're not getting back to the Super Bowl. The Mets, yeah, they could get into the they could get to the playoffs again, but the problem is they're not getting to the World Series unless they have that one dominant pitcher or two dominant pitchers. That's what it's come down to. You can tell if you have dominant pitching, you get into the series. Similar with the Islanders, they have to have like a dominant scorer, they have to have a dominant defensive wing, they have to have a dominant goaltender, and then they pretty much got it solidified at that point. The Knicks, one dominant scorer, which you kind of have, but you need another one there as the Robin to be the Robin to that Batman. You're not going to have a Superman and Batman. You need a Batman and Robin. That's what it comes down to. It's not a Batman and Superman type of thing. I mean, That was with Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. Um, and I think it's another video that I'll have to create about the whole Chris Bosh, not Chris Bosh, the whole LeBron James and Michael Jordan, David Falk. What he said basically is like, Jordan could have had his pick. Yes, it's kind of true. It could if he could have had hell of a lot more. Quite honestly, at the same time, Charles Barkley, he had the opportunity to join the Knicks. I mean, he had the opportunity to actually he had the opportunity to join the Knicks or the Bulls. If he joined the Bulls, he definitely has rings. Problem is like Jordan becomes his superior at that point, and Barkley, knowing him with his ego, if he could get that ring, he becomes on that equal status layer. That's the thing is like it was the Barkley Jordan era was more of like what should have been what was with the Bird and Magic Johnson type of thing, rivalry. Problem is yeah, he didn't have that opportunity, unfortunately, with Charles Barkley. He could only have so much. He needed those superstars. He needed that other star with him, basically. And like, if he'd been with the Knicks, yeah, Ewing gets relegated down, and I understand that. And it makes absolute sense. With him and Barkley together, Barkley and Ewing together, I think the Knicks would have like far had at least 2 or 3 championships for sure. Yeah, if Barkley was with Jordan and the Bulls, chances are from 92 all the way through 99, um, they'll have 7 to 8 championships right then and there at this point. Honestly, with Jordan himself, basically with the 10 rings, he probably would have had 10 rings, quite honestly, if he doesn't retire in yeah, he doesn't retire in 94, 95, in that situation, he's still playing. And in '99, if Reinsdorf doesn't and the Cross doesn't do anything, that stupid thing where like, oh, let's rebuild a team, probably Jordan would have been in 99 and 92,000. They would have, Jordan had 10 rings or 11 rings at this point. He probably would have matched Bill Russell. Let's be honest. He probably would have had Bill Russell's the same amount of rings as Bill Russell had. And at that point, he becomes the true GOAT. There's no question and a doubt that he becomes a true GOAT compared to Bill Russell. But in any situation, I'll get into another video about that. Basically, I'm showing you stats and whatnot. But anyways, to the point, the Knicks, Brunson. I'm like I said, if you're a Knicks fan, you're hoping that they can win four straight, but we're being realists. There's no way they're going to win 4 straight. They're not going to, unless they can come out. Yeah, they're not coming out of Indianapolis or winning all games in Indianapolis. It's not happening, and that's the realist in us, basically. That you have to be a realist in that situation. Similar to the OKC and Minnesota Timberwolves, I'll see Minnesota probably winning 2 games. They'll probably go to 6 games, but I don't see Minnesota beating the Thunder as well too. I would have loved to see. I'll put it this way: I would have loved to see the Thunder against the Knicks in the finals. If there was, I have a cousin-in-law or my wife's cousin basically that has courtside seats to the Oklahoma Thunder. I would be his plus one. I'm like, yeah, forget your wife. I'm your plus one, man. But in any case, I'll leave it at that. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. You're welcome to leave a comment in the comment section. I read all my comments. I do respond to them. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think the Knicks have a shot at winning? That'd be good to know. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.